We now welcome on another very special guest, first guest back from our little break here. It is Obed Vargas. Thanks for joining us today, Obed.
Thank you.
All right, so before we get into more of a conversation, we're going to start out with some quick hitting 1 or 2 word rapid fire questions. Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, so who's one player that you model your game after?
I would say Rodri de Paul from Atletico Madrid.
Okay, that's an interesting one. That's not a one you would hear every day. I like that. Pre-game meal, and also second part is pre-game beverage. Like, what are you drinking pre-game?
Pre-game meal really depends what time the game is. If it's in the morning, I'll probably just have like 2 eggs sunny side up with where you can pop the yolk with some toast, some ham, and then a banana. And if it's in the evening, really whatever the buffet is. If it's away games, I'll have a little bit of everything: veggies, pasta, some meat. And then pre-game drink, I like to have some water with Spark. It's like this powder that has a little bit caffeine in it, so it gets me going.
Yeah, nice. You got to get a Spark sponsorship. They can plug them up.
Hopefully.
Keeping up on the pregame sort of trend, if you put it on a song pregame to get you or the team ready to go for the game, what song are you throwing on pregame?
Oh.
I don't know if the older guys let you have aux duty in the locker room or not, but if they were, like, you know what, you got to throw one on, get us ready. What's your go-to if you have?
There's one song, I forget the name of it. I don't know. I think I have to come back to this one.
All right. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Night game or day game?
Night.
So you're from Alaska. What's the best way to eat salmon? You like it cooked, smoked, raw? If you're a salmon fan at all? I know that's a stereotypical Alaska question.
I liked it smoked a lot, but I haven't had that in a while now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a big smoked fan as well. Yeah. So Mbappe or Haaland? Best young up and coming forward in the world right now, Mbappe, Haaland. Or I guess you could sub in anyone else if you have someone else in your mind.
Mbappe.
Yeah. Okay. So, what else? What's like a day off like for you? Like today, you guys played yesterday. You're off today. Outside of doing this podcast, what is like on your day-to-day basis as a professional soccer player? But also, you're still a kid, so you need to have fun and enjoy yourself. What is like a typical day like for you on a day off?
First of all, I sleep in as much as I can. Whenever my body wakes up, is when I get up. Then, if it's after a game like this, probably watch some video on the game, try to get some clips and watching with the coach whenever I can. And then homework is always a big thing I have to do, because when you're so focused on soccer, you don't really worry about school, but it's an important part. So I have to do school and then some video games with my friends, enjoy myself.
Yeah. So what are you playing? What's your go-to video game at the moment?
Right now it's Apex Legends. Me and my roommate, who I stay with, we play that game a lot.
Yeah.
And then Rocket League too, but we're not very good at that.
Okay. And then back to school. So what is that like? So because obviously you guys must train in the mornings or into the early afternoon maybe. So what's your class schedule like? And are you doing online classes, or do you actually have to go into school? Because I know the Philadelphia Union has a school where their academy trains, and the first team doesn't train there anymore. But for the academy kids, they'll go to school and then they'll train, but it's all in the same place. So do the Sounders also kind of have that school as part of the academy, or do you have like a separate online setup?
They have like an online setup for anyone that joins the academy. They can choose if they want to do that online or they want to go to a public school. When I first joined the academy, I chose public school. I didn't like it, and I joined the online school that Sounders offered, and I've been doing that ever since. So you just basically just do it whenever you want on your computer, just like textbooks and stuff.
Gotcha. So what grade are you are you like a junior?
Yeah, I'm an 11th.
Okay. Damn. So you're gonna be in like your, I guess technically third year. Next year would be your third year as a pro, and you'll still have high school to do. That's insane.
Yeah. Kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to circle back. Well, he kind of hinted at it in an earlier question about the salmon, but you're from Alaska. We definitely have never had anybody from Alaska on our podcast. And I feel like you don't really meet too many people from Alaska. So what was it like growing up in Alaska, especially as a soccer player too?
My dad is a very big soccer player, so I mean, I never experienced what soccer was outside of Alaska because that's all I knew. So I thought it was normal. And you train twice a week, probably play the same team every weekend, maybe a different team. There's like only like 5 teams in the whole state. We would play up. My dad was the coach, and he would put us against like 03s because I'm an 05. I would play with 04s, and then he would put that 04 team up against 03s. And so I always got challenged. We would lose games like 8-1. We would go out of state, lose 7-0. And it was mostly about challenging myself and seeing if I could go up against those players. He didn't really care much about the score, even though he was the coach and he would want the team to do good. Like, he wanted to challenge us more and make us better players more than he wanted us to win. Inside of Alaska, 04s, we would run the league. We'd win state like every year, but that's not a pretty big achievement for 4 or 5 teams. So
yeah. So you mentioned you would train twice a week with your team. So how much of it was individual training or training with your dad or maybe a friend? It must have been a lot of like one-on-one stuff and like kind of developing on your own versus being in a traditional academy setup where you're training every day, 1 or 2 sessions a day.
It was like that during quarantine, but before COVID, believe it or not, I didn't do much like one-on-one with my dad. Like during the summer, we would go and obviously play a lot, but during school, during the season, I didn't do a lot of one-on-one training with my dad. We would just watch a lot of soccer. I just remember watching so much soccer every weekend. Liga MX, we would watch Mexican League every weekend. I used to support Monarcas Morelia, one of Raul Ruidiaz's old team, and we would get so high watching that team. But other than that, I did a lot of sports in school. Like, I did cross country and track. So after school, I would stay and run. And so I didn't really have much time to go with my dad because he also worked, didn't get home till late. So I didn't have much time to go to the fields out with him when I was in school and he was working. And I remember in my house, me and my little brother, we would play. We had like this ceiling that was like dropped off a little bit from the other ceiling. It was like kind of this wall that like sat on the ceiling and dropped off a little bit. We had like this plastic ball. We would throw it up against the ceiling and we would head it against the curtains. We had like this sliding door that would go out to our balcony, and it was curtains. We used that as the goal. Someone would stand in front of the curtains. The other guy would throw against the wall and try to head it into the goal. And we would spend like 1 or 2 hours playing that. We would be sweating after that. It was so fun. We broke so many things, but it was fun.
So is heading a strength of yours, would you say then, because of things like that, where you like practice and develop more and more, or not so much?
Well, there's no opposition. Like, you don't.
Yeah, I guess it's different.
Like
jumping
free
against
headers, I can connect them, but it's just
the
feeling of the ball. I mean, sometimes we would chest it, like try to hit a volley, or sometimes we'd also play in the trampoline. We'd smack it against the side of the house and then jump up, try to hit like a bike or something. We had like that net around the trampoline, so the ball would like stay in the trampoline. And it was just stuff like that. It wasn't really like one-on-one, like drills and stuff. It was just having fun.
Yeah, for sure. So growing up in Alaska, there's no professional soccer like MLS team, or I'm assuming no USL team there. So did it seem attainable for you to one day be a pro? Was that a goal of yours? And also, how did the move to Seattle Sounders come about? Like, do they scout in Alaska? Can you talk a little bit about that process as well?
Wait, what did you say in the first question? I didn't hear.
The first part was it always a goal of yours to become a professional soccer player? Because it's may not have been like a visual, like attainable goal, since there is no professional soccer in Alaska. It was maybe a little bit more difficult to get noticed and to get the look into like the Sounders Academy. And then also, how did that opportunity come about to go play for the Sounders?
It was always a goal of mine to play pro. Even though I was from Alaska, I mean, I knew I was going to have to get out of there one day to become a pro, but it was always a goal for me because it was my dad's goal. And I loved the game so much that I knew I wanted to go pro. I didn't care if I lived in Alaska. I didn't care. There was no pro team. I knew I could do it if I was good enough. And then how joined the Sounders was I was playing ODP for Alaska. We went out to Arizona. We played this little tournament. And then after that tournament, they picked like a couple players from each state and they make like a little region camp. I went to that region camp and then they pick a region team. I made that region team. And then that coach, after we played like a couple games from other regions, he said he thought I was very good. So he recommended me to the Sounders. And then like 6 months later, I got a trial with the Sounders Academy. And then they signed me after that, and I just stayed there.
So at what age did you first go to the Sounders? 14?
Yeah.
14. And then 15, you make your USL debut?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty quick escalation through the ranks. Did you improve a lot, would you say, over that first year while you were there?
Yeah, I would say I learned a lot. Like, being from Alaska, you don't do a lot of tactics. You don't do a lot of pressing. You don't do a lot of building out. I mean, my dad, we always try to build out with our team, but there's not like rotations and like movements that you're supposed to learn. We just pass around the bag, next player. And then when I joined the Sounders Academy, they taught me so much, like pressing, where do I need to stand on the field, like just that first year with the U15s, I learned so much, and I played a little bit up with the U17s. And then once COVID hit, I went back home. I didn't come back till last year, January 1st of last year. And I started training with the academy again, the U17s. And then once preseason started with Tacoma, with the second team, they sent me into that. I played preseason. They signed me there. I played, and now they signed me with first team.
Yeah. So that's a very quick escalation from academy to the second team. And then that 2021, you also made one appearance for the first team. Is that correct?
Yeah.
One. So that's a very quick escalation. And then you now fast forward almost 9 months after that, your debut, I guess.
Yeah.
You've started 5 out of 6 games this year, which is a tremendous start for a 16-year-old. And what do you think is something that has made you adaptable to the pro game? Something about your game that's made you adaptable and able to hang as I hate to say it, and I don't hate to say it, but no offense, you're still a child, you're a kid and you're playing against grown men. So what do you think about your game kind of allows you to be adaptable to that level?
I think just being smart. Like there's kids that are like physically really dominant on the field. And so against other kids, they kind of bully other kids, but they're not smart. And so just being smarter than the other players and knowing where to position myself, giving myself that little advantage sets me up for success against these stronger, faster players. So I think that's what has allowed me to hang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
go ahead, Chuck.
So when you made your Sounders debut too, you were the third youngest player to do that. Alfonso Davies and Freddie Adu are the two players that were younger than you. Are those players that you look up to? And did you know that before I said that, or?
I knew that after I played. I didn't know that before. After everyone started like posting about it, yeah. No, it was pretty incredible. Like my name's up there with Alfonso Davies. Yeah. Just imagine that, like a kid from Alaska.
Yeah. And then being from Alaska too, from what I looked, there was only two other players that I've played in MLS that are from Alaska. So it's a tiny pool. So have you communicated with them? Like, I know that one other guy he's younger too, Hunter Salty. So
Yeah.
you have a relationship with him?
I mean, I would say we're not like friends, like close friends, but yeah, we get along. Like if I see him there, I'll say hi, I'll see how he's doing. But the thing is with him, he's like a couple years older than me, so I never really knew anything about him when he left. When he left Alaska, I was still pretty young, and so he joined the Portland Timbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until like 1 or 2 years ago that he like signed first team. So I didn't really know anything about him because I didn't even know him inside Alaska.
So a great thing about the MLS now is it seems like every single weekend, every single like match day, there's a new academy kid coming through that's like a homegrown making their debut or scoring a goal or doing something great. But I can't remember a player in recent times that has had as much buzz around them as you have kind of created for yourself over these first, I guess, 3 MLS games and plus the Champions League, so 6. So much buzz. So how, as a 16-year-old, how do you handle that attention and kind of like keep yourself grounded? And is there like through your parents or like friends, like what's keeps your head level and focused? Because I'm sure it can. It's a lot to handle for such a young age.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, I didn't have a great game against LA. I wasn't at my best, and people can see that. So just knowing that every game I have to prove myself again and again. Like I have to prove that I can play at that level is just what keeps me grounded. Because after I play a good game, I'm like, okay, I already played that game. Now I have to do that again. So I'm worried about doing that again. I'm worried about, if I play bad, then all that's gone. Like it doesn't matter how good I did back then if now I do bad. So it's really the Tacoma coach taught me the most important game is the next game. So what already happened. Like let people talk about that, but you need to focus on what's next. And if you don't do good here, then people are not going to be talking about what you did back then. They're going to talk about what you did now.
Yeah. So be honest, have you ever searched your name on Twitter and do you like read what people say about you, or how much attention do you pay to social media?
I did that when I made my debut and with the first team. I mean, you're just so like curious what people have to say, you know, like you just can't not do it.
Of course.
And then once I got my Wikipedia page, I was like with my family, I was like, you guys see this? And yeah. Now I try to stay away. I try to stay away from comments and stuff, because when you don't have a good game, like you're just gonna read all those negative comments. So right now, since I've been doing good, like I can look and it'll be fine. But the day comes I have a bad game, or I don't know, something happens and I'm not playing. I can't turn to social media and see, what are they saying about me? Like, no, I need to focus and get ready for what's next.
Yeah.
For you as a player, how do you gauge how well you played? Like personally, what are some things that you look at? See, like you look at that and like, oh, I did this, and this, so I know I had a good game. Or is there anything like that you look at?
I feel after the games, I just have a feeling like I feel good or I feel bad. I don't know. Like I guess just like times I lose the ball. Like if I lose the ball a lot, if I'm not connecting passes, like that's automatically like a bad feeling for me. That's no good. If I can't take, like I try to do a dribble and I don't do it, like that dribble will stay in my head probably for the rest of the game. I'll be like, I missed that one. And like if I don't redeem myself with like another dribble that's successful, then I'll just be like, that was a bad game. I had one dribble and I failed.
Yeah, you're a perfectionist.
So, I'll think like that. Like my last game, people telling me, oh, you didn't do that bad, you just didn't do that good. I'm just like, if I didn't do good, I did bad.
Yeah. So you said you were watching film. You would watch film this morning or today at some point for your game.
Yeah, I was watching it just now.
So could you share one or two takeaways that you have personally from your game yesterday? Like what you did, maybe something you did well, something that you think you could have improved on?
No, I wasn't watching on the game yesterday because it's not uploaded yet on the program yet. But I was watching the Leon game, and I was just looking. Sometimes when they were building out, I got caught in like what they call no man's land. And so guys would like come around my shoulder, like they would be back here. I'll check, they'll be there. I move, I turn my head, and all of a sudden they're over here, and they just play through past me. And so that constant like checking my shoulder, making sure where the guy is cutting that passing lane, it was something I took away. It was pretty easy because in that Leon game, in that first half, they had possession for a bit. For a while they had it, and we were just in our half. And so when they would play through the middle, it's when they're most dangerous. And I played in the middle, so I need to be able to deny those passes and press.
You said your dad coached you when you were younger. Do you talk to him a lot now about the games? Like, does he give you feedback on how you played, or are you looking for him for that, or what's the relationship like now?
Yeah, he still tries to give me feedback, but I think he's acknowledged that I'm a different level now. Like, he's only coached like competitive in Alaska. He knows a lot about the sport. I'll give him that. He knows a lot. He played his whole life. But I think he's acknowledged that like what he can offer me is what he already did. And so like anything that he might say, I might already know. And yeah, he'll be like, yeah, you should work on this. And I'll be like, yeah, like I know. And he's kind of gotten used to that life where I'm at a different level and I can self-critique myself, you know. I like what he's gonna tell me, I probably already know, and so I don't need two people telling me at once. Plus, I have coaches that's their job. So he's kind of more just like that, like good job, like just the positive mindset, you know.
Yeah, just being a dad now.
Yeah. Just being that dad. That's always, it don't matter how you did, like.
Yeah, he's probably. I mean, he's probably very, very proud of you. So
yeah.
Have they gone? Has your family gone to Seattle to watch you in person at all yet?
Yeah, my dad did. The first game I played at home, he went to go watch it.
Was that this year or last season?
Yeah, this year.
This year. Word. So when you
like
first made your debut for the first team, were you going into the game? Did the coach communicate to you that it's a possibility that you'd make your debut, or was it a total shock to you?
Well, I started the game, so.
Did you? Okay. So what's your mindset like leading up to that as a 15-year-old going into?
Yeah, we were like doing like stretching like the day before the game, or I can't remember if it was the day before the game or the morning of the game, and we're doing some stretching, and the coach comes in and he's like, yeah, I've talked with a few senior guys, and I think the best choice is to start this lineup. He's like, I'm gonna start 15-year-old. And there's only one 15-year-old in the room. So so I'm like in shock. I'm like shaking. I'm like,
you're like me?
I was like, okay. And like that, after that, I was like doing everything I could to get ready. Like we have this yoga coach, and he like sent this meditation into the group chat where he like talks you through the meditation. I did that before the game. I think it really helped, actually. I was like praying out before the game. I was like, before the game, I was nervous. I stepped onto the field. I saw the atmosphere. I saw how many people were in the stadium, like the lights in Austin. It was like they make it all dark and they just put green lights. After that, I couldn't be nervous anymore. I was just happy.
Yeah.
I was like,
dream come true.
Like, look where I'm standing.
Yeah.
There's just.
At some point, it's just like it's soccer. You're just playing soccer like any other.
Yeah.
Once you settle in, I'm sure it kind of calms down a little bit.
It's cool you had that moment too where you kind of looked around and were like, I'm really like, just to appreciate it in the moment. I think a lot of times moments like that, you don't really like it's like you don't know what you have until it's gone. But it's like sit down and do that. It's probably, I mean, obviously you'll remember that the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So for the 2022 season, do you have, obviously the team goals are to win trophies. You still have quite a few trophies to win this year. Individually, do you have any goals that you set for yourself at the beginning of the year, that like maybe games played, goals scored, assists, anything like that you want to achieve this year?
Obviously, I want to score a goal. I want to get an assist. I want to get a couple assists. It's kind of hard though. Like sometimes, like I stay back. I let the guys do their work. Like the older guys, I let them do most of the attacking work. But I'll pick my times where I go and I'll have a little dribble or a little cross or something. So whenever I think I get my first assist or my first goal, it'll be easier for the rest to come. So that's obviously my first goal. One of my goals is to get my first goal and my first assist. And then I think it's just being in that lineup as much as I can. Like playing games. Just playing games is the best for me. Right now, I'm not really worried about like stuff like that, like stats and stuff. Like I just want to play games and get a feel of the league, the players, and just that week in, week out, playing, like it adds up.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this: as a young player in the league, have you encountered other players that try to trash talk you? They like to get you off your game, thinking you're a younger player, or do you just not listen to that?
I haven't had anyone really try to trash talk me. I've actually tried to trash talk them.
Oh, what'd you say? Who are you talking to?
In the Leon game, I was trying to get in this one guy's head after we were already 3-0. So I was like,
yeah,
it's kind of petty of me, but the thing is, like, I grew up watching that guy play, and so I was like, I'm gonna see what he does.
Yeah,
and I was like, because I would go out and press him, and he would just play back, and I was like, dribble me. I was like, come at me in Spanish. Yeah. I was like, come on. Let's go. Let's play.
I love that. I love that mentality. Did he do anything to like set you off, or you're just like feeling yourself and you're like, let's go?
I was in that kind of mood. I was just like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, he tried to turn it every single time I talk to an older guy like that, they try to turn everything to a lesson, like a life lesson that I need to learn. He's like the smarter players always win, not the ones that try to dribble. And I was like,
yeah, that's why you're losing, bro.
Yeah, I was like, that hasn't been working though.
Yeah.
What's his name? Who was it? Can you say the player's name?
He probably won't watch this. So his name's Elias Hernandez.
Yeah, I promise he won't watch this. There's no way. Unless this clip blows up, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right, so switching gears now a little bit to more national team based stuff. We were talking a little bit before we started recording about some dual nationals we've had on. You yourself are obviously a dual national. Like you said, you speak fluent Spanish, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've represented the U.S. so far with youth national team levels, right? At what, U15 and 17?
I mean, I haven't played a game for them, but I've been to camps.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you went to I think it was on your Wikipedia maybe, about a U20 camp this year already? What was that like?
It was, I mean, obviously a new experience for me. I was playing older guys, like the best in the country. So just trying to hang again.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go is just trying to hang and then trying to make a name for myself. I'm kind of used to it now. I've been to so many like filters, like being from Alaska, trying to make region teams, trying to make academies, whatever. It's just being confident, really. It's what it's taught me.
And where do you think that confidence comes? Is the confidence something natural for you, or where does that self-confidence come from to really propel yourself?
It comes within the game. I think just connecting that first pass or making that first tackle, clearing that first ball is what gives me confidence for the rest of the game, really, for me.
Yeah. So we've had on a few. So far we're 0 for 1. Obviously we're American, Chuck and myself. Most of our followers and listeners are American. So far we're 0 for 1 on the dual national commitment train. Julian Araujo was up in the air when he first came on, and obviously he chose Mexico. We have Nico Carrera Holstein Kiel, dual national undecided. Jonathan Gomez, a big one, undecided. By the way, for the listeners, might be having him on later this week, so stay tuned for that, hopefully. For you personally, obviously you've lived in the US and Alaska your whole life, correct? So what is that, how important is like the Mexican side of things to your family? Is your whole family Mexican, and is it still like a big part of your, was it a big part of your upbringing, sorry? And what role does it play in your life?
Yeah, Mexico is, I love that place. It's where my parents are from. In my house, it's where the soccer really was born, from in Mexico, from my parents who were born in Mexico, my grandparents who were lived in Mexico. That's just where the soccer was born, and I was able to play because of it. So obviously I have a lot of love for that, and just to play for Mexico one day, like, it would make my parents super proud. But also I want to represent the country that gave me the opportunities. Without the US, I wouldn't be here. So it's kind of that, like, as I get older and as that decision comes closer, is when I would have to decide. Right now, I'm not too worried about it, because at the youth level, it doesn't cap you. Like, you don't have to choose right now. But I don't know, it's hard for me to choose right now at this moment. I'm kind of undecided like the rest of the guys.
Yep. So do you have your eyes set on Qatar 2022 this year? Is that something that's a goal of yours?
For me, looking at that is super far away from me. I think there's a lot of guys that are ahead of me right now. So not really. But if it comes, it comes. Like,
yeah,
I have to be ready, but
you never know.
Yeah, not to discard it, but I know there's a lot of guys ahead of me.
Yeah, you have plenty of time to, you know, you're moving at a quick pace the way it is right now. So yeah. I guess I have one concluding question here. We could wrap up. This is just about Alaska in general. What's a misconception that you think a lot of people have about Alaska that aren't from there or have never been there?
I think one thing people always say is it's always cold there. And the answer is no, it's not always cold there. In the summer, it's pretty nice. It's pretty warm. Like, obviously doesn't get like above 90, but like 70, some 80. Like, it's sunny, it's nice. You can go out, you can play. It's pretty nice. Pretty peaceful.
You get the 4 seasons there.
Yeah.
Kind of. How long is summer?
Kind of. Like 3 days.
Like 3 or 4 months.
Okay. You got the full summer.
And then in the winter, it's really dark.
Yeah. It gets pretty dark pretty early, like 2, 3.
Damn.
So once you get out of school, basically it's dark.
That I couldn't do that personally. But I guess if you grew up with it, it is what it is.
Yeah. It's normal. I didn't know anything about that.
I need my vitamin D, man.
Is it an adjustment now for you? Be in Washington, do you think like, oh, the sun sets so much later now, or is what normal?
The sunset actually, like, I would think it would set so much later, but it actually sets like around 5, 6. Pretty. Mm-hmm. It gets dark here too, so I guess not that much different.
Is it always raining there? Is that like a true like stereotype about Seattle? Is it just like raining like every?
I wouldn't say it's always raining here. I wouldn't say it's always raining, but it's definitely raining more than other places. Like, it obviously rains so much more than other places.
Yeah, damn. So you got not the best weather where you've been living so far. At least for me personally.
Yeah.
But like, for example, Chuck lives in San Francisco. That man gets sunshine every day, all day.
Yeah, it's really. You see this also? It's kind of cloudy today, but
yeah.
I was I was in I don't know if you've been around in Washington at all, but I was in Olympic National Park, and I loved it up there. It was really gorgeous.
I haven't been many places since I just got my driver's license. Like,
I was gonna ask that actually.
Like 5 months ago.
Okay.
So it's been just training them back.
Yeah. Actually, I was gonna ask you that too, because I was gonna ask how what your mode of transportation was to get to training, because I wasn't sure if you had your driver's license yet. But
Yeah, I have mine now. Before I did, I had to carpool with just guys. I would have to text people like the day before. I like, hey, can you pick me up?
You're like, yo, Rui Diaz, come scoop.
Yeah.
yeah. I got 5 for gas.
And then those guys, they would get annoyed because like they would have to pick me up every day. And I kind of felt bad asking them. So I would kind of rotate guys, you know.
Yeah.
I'll be like, one day, like I'll ask this guy, and one day I'll ask the other. Hopefully they're in a good mood.
Yeah.
How long of a drive is it in from training for you?
It was like 30 minutes.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say you could ride your bike in or something.
Nah, hell no.
No, that's too far.
No, that's too
Yeah.
far.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
we appreciate it. Thank you for coming on. We're very, very excited to see you continue to play and improve. And I mean, sky's the limit, we think, honestly.
Yeah.
If you're only 16, you're playing like this. We're excited to see how you continue to grow. And never say never, Qatar 2022. I'm penciling it in for you.
I don't know, man. Hopefully, we'll see.
All right, man. Thank you.